Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Friday, January 17th. Ian Cameron with you, just yours truly today. Alex is, I believe, once again passing at the two-game slate like he did Wednesday, so he'll be back tomorrow with us on the Saturday show, and it is a huge Saturday coming up. It's going to be Hockey Day in Canada, north of the border as well on Saturday. 15 games coming up in the NHL on Saturday, so that show tomorrow is going to be packed. It's going to be slammed to the brim as far as hockey analysis, betting analysis, and 15 games on the card. Alex will be back for that. I also want to mention, too, that we're going to have a guest joining us tomorrow. I don't want to give it away. All I will say is he's a recently retired pro hockey player, not NHL, but he's mostly in the American League, East Coast League for the last decade plus. He just retired recently, and he's going to be on the show with us tomorrow. He's into betting. And he might be a recurring guest on the show moving forward. So we're excited to have that debut with us tomorrow as well on the Saturday show. So looking forward to that. And again, we've got obviously a small card tonight, just two games. I mean, it's the same old situation here where we've got, a loaded Thursday card, two games tonight, just like we had a loaded Thursday card, just two games tonight, loaded Tuesday card, and just two games Wednesday night. So seems to be the pattern we're in. Last night. What can I say? It was a spectacular night. Top 3 betting night in the NHL for me this season. Easily. And that's just, and you know how neurotic I am, though? I had a phenomenal night last night. Like, it was just about win after win. And what am I fixated on, though? Not the several units of profit, not the big winners, not the fact that I cashed not one, but two big underdogs at plus 200 or better last night in NHL action. What am I fixated on? What am I, losing sleep over last night when I should be in a great mood, feeling great, having a huge winning night? What am I losing sleep over? That the best bet that I picked on the show was one of the few losses with San Jose Columbus over. That shows you how much of a nutcase I can be sometimes. I should be thrilled. I should be happy, but I'm fixated on, best bet, man. What the fuck? And that's consuming my thoughts and my emotions, not the fact that for the majority of last night's card, we crushed it. So, like I said, it was a terrific night overall. That too, the bargain bins didn't win. So that's what you get with me sometimes. Do I focus on the 90 to 95% of the positive from last night? No. Let's focus on the 5 to 10% that was negative. That's how we work sometimes, unfortunately, as human beings. But nevertheless, it was a terrific Thursday night. No question about that. Tampa Bay, Anaheim, not easy for Tampa Bay. Had to work for it, but they do get a 4-3 shootout win over the Anaheim Ducks. It ended up being a good game. The system play came through for us here. First period over, full game over, both hit. With Anaheim off the shutout loss to Washington. So we get the system play over by Fecta with that game. Tampa with the 4-3 shootout win. We do get the Tampa team total over 3.5 as well. Really entertaining game, obviously, there. Back and forth it went. And the Lightning get it done 4-3 in a shootout over the Anaheim Ducks. Columbus 4-1 over San Jose. Like I said, best bet was the over in that game. It falls short, despite the fact we did cash the first period over. And we did cash Columbus team total. Over 3.5 with that 4-1 win over the San Jose Sharks. Again, just continues to be Columbus Blue Jackets team playing some tremendous hockey on home ice. And just Dean Evison and a terrific coaching job with this group. And Zach Werenski with another very good game. I know he only had the 1 point, but he was strong in the defensive zone. He had a terrific assist on the first goal by Adam Fantilli. Another strong night from him. Very impressive. Columbus with a 4-1 win against the San Jose Sharks last night. And San Jose, once again, showing that they cannot withstand prosperity. They got a big win against Detroit. They're unable, though, to follow it up. storybook ending in Ottawa. It was don't be fooled by the fact that we went into overtime scoreless. It was a fairly entertaining hockey game, and the goaltending on both sides from Logan Thompson and Levi Marilainen was very good. It was a very good game back and forth. Yeah, we did have Ottawa, or sorry, we did have the draw, I should say, in that game, which was great to hit that at plus 322. So that was the main source of profit for me with that game. And a storybook ending is in Alex Ovechkin gets the overtime winner for the Washington Capitals, and another goal closer to Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record in the NHL. So a solid victory there for the Capitals as they get it done 1-0 in overtime over the Ottawa Senators. The Detroit Red Wings, I trusted them last night. I thought they would play a lot better after the loss to San Jose. Todd McClellan challenged his team to be better, and they were. A nice 5-2 win on the road against the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. Yes, Florida took the play to them in the third period, and big time took the play to them. And you got to give Cam Talbot a hell of a lot of credit. He turned aside all 23 shots that he faced in the third period. It was 23-5 Florida shots on goal in the third period. But boy, Cam Talbot really held the fort and kept that at 4-2 throughout that third period. And Dylan, again, Patrick Kane gets on the board. Another great game from Dylan Larkin, who had 2 goals and an assist. Lucas Raymond got on the board. Jonathan Berggren scores. We got Marco Kasper. That was someone I considered using as the bargain bin, but I didn't. He ended up scoring the 4th goal for Detroit in that game. But great win for the Red Wings, 5-2. And like I said, part of the reason why I bet on Detroit, it wasn't just that Detroit's been winning. They were getting a huge price, plus 200. It was that Florida's been playing meandering hockey for a while now, where they've just been playing, so-so. They have not played their A game, the Florida Panthers, in quite some time. So it was a very solid road win there for the Detroit Red Wings. Sure, Florida took it to them in the third period, but when you have a lead, or you're the team trailing, I should say, like Florida, you expect, to be aggressive offensively and carry the play, and they did. And, Cam Talbot was there, to hold the fort. And like I said, Detroit with a nice 5-2 win and a huge cash for us here, plus 200 with the Red Wings in that game. A great comeback win for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this game was one of the more entertaining games of the night. Back and forth it went. Devils get the lead. William Nylander, who the Leafs desperately needed to get out of his funk, out of his slump, was able to do that last night in a big way. Scores to tie the game. Hischier on the power play gives the Devils the lead. Austin Matthews responds with a power play goal to tie it at 2. The Devils power play answers right back, and the other captain, Nico Hischier, strikes for his second goal, and then the Leafs captain, Austin Matthews, answers back and ties it up 3-3. It was a captain face-off, it looked like, in the third period, because all 3 goals were scored by the captains of the team in that third period. But it was a great game, back and forth, and then a horrible line change in overtime costs the New Jersey Devils. Luke Hughes hit the goalpost just before that, and then, of course, the bad line change leads to a stretch pass that finds William Nylander in alone on a clear-cut breakaway, and he beats Jacob Markstrom for the overtime winner. And like I said, Nylander gets out of his slump in a big way. 2 goals, including the overtime winner, and Toronto beats New Jersey 4-3 in a very entertaining game in overtime last night. And I said, I thought Toronto was going to find a way. They did, so we get cash with them as a home dog. Great result there for me with that. And part of the reasoning I like Toronto, too, is because they have done a phenomenal job all year stopping losing streaks before they become extended losing streaks. Toronto entered that game last night not losing 4 games in a row yet. If they had lost to the Devils last night, it would have been their 4th loss in a row. So once again, Toronto avoids a 4-game losing streak, and they have still yet to lose 4 games in a row this season. And that's a testament to that team. You know how difficult it is to get into mid-January like this? We're at the halfway mark of the season. Most teams have played at least 41 games. You know how difficult it is to go halfway through the season and not have one losing streak longer than 3 games? That's very difficult. And a team that is in this spot like Toronto should be commended for it. That they were able to, to go this long without like I said, without losing 4 in a row is a great job. That's a hell of a job right there, because usually every team is going to go through a 4, 5, even 6 gamer. That kind of losing streak at least once, and they have avoided that. 3 has been their longest losing streak this year. So great job by the Leafs there. And yeah, they did. After when Austin Matthews tied that game 3-3 with that roof job on Markstrom, roof shot under the crossbar, the way the Leafs took over after, like, they looked like that goal just went right to their legs. The energy just went through the roof. They were buzzing. They were all over the Devils in the zone, and had multiple chances actually to win it in regulation right after the Leafs tied it 3-3. So that goal really went to their legs, and they just, that really got them going, seeing the captain Matthews tie it 3-3. And like I said, after that, Toronto, you could tell the momentum was on their side, and they were able to win it, obviously, in overtime. The Philadelphia Flyers, another cash for me last night with them as an underdog, their team total over. This was another system play that got there, at least with the full game over. It got there. First period over, did lose, but we got the full game over. Of course, it was the Islanders off a shutout loss, and Philly gets the job done 5-3. Like I said, I was just mystified the Islanders were minus 140. Don't trust them ever in that kind of a price range. I don't think they're good enough to be in that kind of a price range, and they kind of showed it last night. But a nice 5-3 win for the Philadelphia Flyers. Morgan Frost again scores for them last night in that game. I know we cashed with him as a bargain bin early in the week, but he's scored every game since then. He can just keep betting Morgan Frost at this point to score a goal for Philadelphia, and did a nice job. Another nice game from him, and a 5-3 win for the Philadelphia Flyers last night over the struggling New York Islanders. All good things must come to an end. We knew Chicago wasn't going to go over in the first period, for 20 or 30 in a row. We knew it was going to come to an end at some point. And unfortunately, last night it did. 11 games straight to the first period over for Chicago, and the streak ends last night. Of course, only 1-0 Nashville after the first period. Unfortunate, because one of the goals got taken away in the first period, and it was a very, in my opinion at least, a little bit of a dubious call there to take that goal off the board. But nevertheless, it ends last night, and so did the other streak. Seattle had gone over in the first period 8 straight. That came to an end last night as well. But Nashville comes back, ties it in the third, and gets a 3-2 win against Chicago. Just another game that was there for the Blackhawks, opportunity to win it, and just cannot finish the deal. And the Predators come back, get a 3-2 win against the Chicago Blackhawks last night. Montreal Canadiens. These are some hot Habs right now, as I said on Twitter X. What a job by them again. 3-1 win for the Montreal Canadiens, beating another of the elites in the NHL. Just another notch on the belt for them after wins against Tampa Bay, Florida, Vegas, Colorado, Washington here in the last few weeks. And they add the Dallas Stars to their list of victims. A 3-1 win last night over the Dallas Stars. What an assist by Cole Caulfield on the first goal to Uri Slafkovsky. It was a hell of an assist. Great pass. No chance at all for Jake Ottinger. We had a stalemate in the second period, no goals. And then Alex Newhook from Lane Hudson, another terrific play by Lane Hudson, gives the Montreal Canadiens a 2-1 lead. And then Yoel Armia puts it away into the empty net, and the Montreal Canadiens get a 3-1 win. It was a third period that Dallas controlled, had a bunch of chances, and Jakub Dobeš is becoming a very real story right now here in the NHL. He is still undefeated as a starting goalie for the Montreal Canadiens. 4-0, a .98 goals against average, not even one. 0.98 goals against average, .963 save percentage, 1 shutout in the mix, and a 4-0 record in his first 4 career NHL starts for Jakub Dobeš. He was terrific again last night in net for Montreal, helping them to that 3-1 win. And now, one of the more entertaining and one of the more impactful Toronto-Montreal games on the horizon on Saturday night on Hockey Day in Canada, with Toronto obviously one of the best teams in the NHL, and Montreal playing the last few weeks like one of the better teams in the NHL. So suddenly a Leafs-Habs game with a little bit of juice to it on Saturday night. And aren't we all better off for that as hockey fans and hockey bettors, that Leafs-Habs is significant again for both teams at the same time. It's been a while since we've had that. And tomorrow night, we are going to have that when they face off. What else did we see last night? 4-1 St. Louis beating Calgary. Solid victory for the Blues. They sweep the back-to-back home games over the Calgary Flames last night. Winnipeg finds a way, breaks Seattle's heart late with a 2-1 win. Dylan DeMello with less than 30 seconds left in the third period to get the 2-1 win over Seattle. New York Rangers, a nice comeback for them. It didn't look good early. They were down 3-1 going into the third period. But that's the signs of life that from the New York Rangers that make you think the ship is starting to turn in the upright, positive direction for the Rangers. When you can come from behind, you find it in yourself to battle back, come back and win that game like they did, and they were able to. Riley Smith started it with an early shorthanded goal in the third period to make it 3-2. You could tell the Rangers got a jolt from that point on, and you could see they played a very good road third period. Chris Kreider, hallelujah, finally chips in and does something. Panarin finally got back on the score sheet. The big guns, the guys that are paid the big money, the big bucks to produce, to make shit happen for the New York Rangers, finally did last night. And again, they get the game-winning goal as well after that from actually, Kreider gave them the game-winning goal. It was 3-2, not 3-1. It was 3-2 going into the third period for Utah. Smith Shorty tied the game 3-3. Kreider gave them the lead 4-3, and then Artemi Panarin puts it away into the empty net for the 5-3 win. Again, we're not going to overreact. We're not going to say everything is good again with the Rangers. They got a lot of work to do because the struggles over the last month to month and a half have put them in a very big hole, but there is no doubt that they are starting to get their game going again and starting to put the whatever animosity they feel toward management, they've kind of parked it for now and are starting to focus on winning hockey games and trying to salvage their season. That's what they're doing right now. So, again, a nice win for the Rangers last night to come back 5-3 against Utah. Great game, Edmonton, Colorado. Phenomenal game. That was one of I thought the last Oilers-Avs game was a bit of a dud, bit of a snooze fest. Edmonton won it 4-1. Didn't have nearly the excitement I thought last night's game had. Last night's game was great. I mean, Colorado with the red-hot start, 3-0 lead, jumped on an Edmonton team, playing the second night of a back-to-back on the road. But holy shit, man, all the credit to the Oilers. They could have easily said, hey, it's not our night. It's back-to-back. We're playing a great team. Not our night. They didn't. They got that late goal in the third from Arvidsson, made it 3-1. And then in the second period, they get the Kulak goal, the McDavid goal to tie it. And the momentum was on their side, and Colorado was swarming them early in the third when that game was 3-3. But Stuart Skinner and the Oiler blue line held the fort, and eventually Evan Bouchard gets the game-winning goal with a little under 7 minutes left, and a hell of a comeback win for the Oilers last night, 4-3 in Colorado. The thin air, the altitude, the fact that they were in that environment on a back-to-back on the road. What a job by Edmonton last night. It's not only one of the best wins of the night last night, it's one of the best wins they've probably had of the season. Hell, it's probably one of the best wins any NHL team has had this season. Like, are you kidding me? Back-to-back on the road, and usually your legs give out in that thin air and altitude environment in Denver on a second night of back-to-backs, and somehow you come back from a 3-0 deficit to win that game. That's an incredible win right there for the Edmonton Oilers last night. Tremendous job by them, and you got to give them all the credit for it. The Los Angeles Kings, wow, it's getting ugly and bad in Vancouver. 5-1 LA. Turcotte with the first two goals. We mentioned him finally starting to score from that top line spot. Kempe, and it felt like it was game over 10 minutes in. Rick Tocchet called the timeout. Did it make a little bit of a difference? Not enough. That's for sure. Quinn Hughes got the only goal to make it for Vancouver, made it 3-1. But then you give up a power play goal right after that to Kevin Fiala to make it 4-1, and all the momentum gone once again for Vancouver. And then Warren Fogle in the third period to make it 5-1. This system play swept. This was the one I was worried about because neither the Kings or the Canucks were scoring all that much, but the Kings were off the shutout loss, so we were on the system play here with the first period over and the full game over. In this Kings-Canucks game, and what prices too. I mean, the over 1.5 was like plus 125, and the full game over was right around that price as well, like plus money for those two bets. So great to see those cash in last night. And Kings with a 5-1 win. JT Miller benched during the game, didn't see a lot of ice time. Rick Tocchet with the pointed comments after saying, it was a rough night for him. He didn't seem to be engaged, didn't seem to have a lot going for him. And it seemed like when he was on the ice, something bad happened. There's something bad happening right now in Vancouver. Like, this is a team that I think needs a shakeup. The trade's got to happen. Whether it's, I don't think it's going to be Pettersson, because that contract is a fucking albatross around the neck. And getting rid of that, good luck with that. But yeah, there was definitely some exchanges going on with Tocchet and JT Miller last night. He was definitely pretty blunt about JT Miller last night in the post game as well, following that game. So, like I said, now you got Tocchet and JT. The people assume it's JT Miller's got to be the one to go, and because that's the more tradable contract. And now you've got this situation unfolding right now with Tocchet calling out JT Miller. You got to trade someone, okay? Because these two, I'm sick of hearing about the Miller-Pettersson feud. I'm sick of it, and they can deflect it all they want, but there's probably something to it. Something's got to be done. Someone's going to have to move. And it's not just because of the Pettersson and Miller feud or conflict. It's because the team needs to have something involving this roster, just a shakeup of some kind. We've gotten to that point now with Vancouver. We need a little bit of a shakeup right now. And we'll see what Patrick Allvin, Jim Rutherford, and the management team, are able to do. Because it's looking at this point in time like, something's got to happen at this point. You're right. There's zero cohesion, desire. They look disinterested, disjointed. There's no emotion. It doesn't feel like there's a huge amount of pushback right now from Vancouver when things go south. I mean, it's rough. And that, to me, last night was rock bottom. It doesn't get much worse than that. You got your tail kicked in by Winnipeg the other night, and you're down 3-0 the very next game back home in front of your fans against LA before they can even blink and before they can even come back and sit in their damn seat from the concession stands, and you're down, you're trailing already. What if people had arrived late, traffic in downtown Vancouver? You can only find a parking spot a long distance from the arena. You got to walk all that way. You don't get into the building. You don't get your drinks. You don't get your food. You don't get to the washroom and right away, and you get that done. And by the time you get in your seat finally, it's halfway through the first period, and I get greeted with a fucking 3-0 deficit. How the hell does that make me feel as a fan? I mean, my goodness, it was not good. It was a troubling game. Let's just put it that way. Troubling game last night. For the Vancouver Canucks, and we'll have to see where they go from here. Because now we got to start talking about the P word now, playoffs, as in they may not get there. The door's officially open for that right now with the Vancouver Canucks, which would be a thorough disappointment and setback and step back from what we saw from them last year. All right, we got 2 games tonight in the NHL on this Friday card. We'll start with Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Sabres minus 130 home favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the over. Here in this game, it was a solid home win for Buffalo Wednesday night against Carolina, coming on the heels of the 6-2 loss to Seattle, where Lindy Ruff called out the third period collapse from his team, and they certainly responded the right way. A great start to the game. I didn't love that third period still. How can you? I mean, they didn't have a shot on goal in the third period. Can you believe it? And somehow we're able to win. There's definitely still some confidence issues right now with the Buffalo Sabres as far as finishing games. That's been an issue. It's been an issue for Pittsburgh, too. So my thought going into this game is, why the hell bet it pregame? Certainly, I think if you like Buffalo, we have seen enough issues in the third period. We have seen enough issues from them holding leads that you're better off looking first period from here on out with Buffalo. If you think they're going to be good and you think they're going to play well, bank on them playing well early, not so much late. I think we're almost getting there with this Buffalo Sabres team. But you're right. No shots on goal in the third period. I get it. You're protecting a lead that was 3-0 going into the third. But it's ridiculous you don't have one shot on goal in the third period. You can't be that passive, even with a 3-0 lead. Slavin made it 3-1. Marty Necas made it 3-2 with about 4 minutes left. And boy, Carolina had their looks to tie it before Ryan McLeod, who got a hat trick the other night against Carolina, put it away with that empty net goal to make it 4-2. But there are still some confidence issues for Buffalo, and they get a little tight when they're trying to close out a game and hold a lead. There's no doubt. So, and they've been a good first period team all year. There's no question. But what I would do here is I lean Buffalo in the first period. It does kind of make some sense to look at them in that direction. But my thought process is whoever's leading in the third period, bet against them. Pittsburgh's no good keeping leads either. Look what Seattle did the other night against the Penguins. These are the two teams you really just can't rely on as far as defensive hockey to shut you down and hold on to a lead and bring a game home into the win column. It's been a problem throughout the season for both teams. Pittsburgh's on a slide right now, 3 straight losses, just 1-7 in their last 8 games overall. I'm not interested in backing them, but I'm not interested in laying a full game money line price with Buffalo. What I would do is take them first period money line or first period puck line because that has been their strongest period all season long. And then maybe Buffalo has a lead in the second period or second intermission going into the third, and maybe then we'll grab Pittsburgh live. Or Pittsburgh's got a lead in the second intermission, and we'll grab I shouldn't say grab Buffalo live because maybe we will though, because Buffalo's had bad third periods, but Buffalo's had bad third periods with the lead. Buffalo's trailing going into the third. Pittsburgh's had those same issues with a lead in the third that Buffalo has had. I'd still maybe look at Buffalo live if they're trailing. Put it this way, whoever's trailing going into the third period, they're certainly still live to come back and win the game the way both of these teams have played. There's no question. I like the over by Fecta most of all here in this game. I know Buffalo finally had a first period under against Carolina, but tell you, there were chances galore to get that second goal. Didn't happen. Full game still went over, though, and Buffalo is still on a 12-3 first period overrun in their last 15 games. So I like the over by Fecta. Like I said, my main approach as far as from the side perspective in this game is whoever's leading after the second period, bet against them because neither of these teams can be trusted to hold on to a lead right now. We're going to look at something live, and backing the team that's trailing going into the third period is no doubt going to be a plan of attack and a strategy here for me when it comes to the Penguins and Sabres here tonight. As far as the goaltending, it's Alex Nedeljkovic for Pittsburgh, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in net for Buffalo. I'm going to be repetitive with the Buffalo props, but Jason Zook, Ryan McLeod's got it rolling right now. Coming off the hat trick, we mentioned McLeod in the Carolina game. Look to him to score goals. He's got 4 in the last 3 games, 6 points in the last 3 games as well. Dylan Cousins is eating up for the Buffalo Sabres as well. Jack Quinn didn't score last game, but his recent play has been better at the offensive end as far as finishing goes. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, you look at them going into this game. Evgeny Malkin, who has been missing in action, of course, for a while, but they got him back against Seattle. A horrible situation with him that someone, robbed him, break into his home, stole the Stanley Cup rings from him. That's horrific. That's horrifying to hear that. Very unfortunate he's got to go through something like that. Look, I know these guys are rich, but no one should feel good about anyone breaking into somebody's home. I don't care how rich or poor you are. That's unacceptable behavior, and you don't want to see anyone go through something like that. And those Stanley Cup rings, man, like I said, that's just unfortunate. Malkin goes through something like that. But he came back the last game against Seattle. So we'll see. He probably should be more comfortable here tonight in this game. Talked about how lately for the Pittsburgh Penguins, we've seen, I would say that for them, it's very interesting. We know Rickard Rakell's been on a bit of a heater lately for the Pittsburgh Penguins with 4 goals in the last 5 games for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Michael Bunting, has started to pick up offensively. He's got 6 goals for this Penguins team in the last 9 games entering tonight. There's always the threat of Drew O'Connor. Even Anthony Beauvillier, I think we saw him, score a bit late in December. Phil Tomasino, who came back into the lineup following a 4-game absence against Tampa Bay, and then he scored against Seattle in the 4-2 loss to the Kraken. So Tomasino, someone that I think might be someone to look at as far as a little bit more of a deeper down the board goal prop selection here for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. No, is that what happened there? Jonathan, I didn't keep up with the update on the Malkin break-in situation. It said thought they said they found the rings in the house. Yeah. Hopefully he gets them back either way. But like I said, it's not what you want to see. That's your sanctuary. Your home is your place of solitude, privacy. It's where you know, that's yours. And it feels like a personal violation of space and privacy when something like that happens. And not to mention the items you lose potentially when someone breaks in and steals shit from you. So, like I said, tough situation, and don't want to see anyone go through that. All right, next up, we've got, they were found. Good to hear that. All right, Vegas and Carolina. We've got Carolina minus 160 home favorites, 5.5, 6 the total here in this game with the Golden Knights and the Hurricanes. Look at this matchup here with these two teams. Very interesting to see how it plays out. But Vegas, obviously, a team that tough loss for them to start the road trip against the Nashville Predators the other night. We'll see if they can bounce back from that 5-3 loss to the Preds. Vegas, again, we talk about teams that have been awesome at home, but kind of mediocre on the road. Carolina's been that on the road. Vegas is 11-9 on the road. That's still pretty good, but it's not nearly as good as they've been at home. They have been better on the road recently until that Nashville loss. We'll see how they fare here. Carolina's off back-to-back losses now. 3-2 at home to Anaheim, 4-2 on the road against Buffalo. Rod Brind'Amour wasn't very happy with their start in the first period. Rod Brind'Amour had another classic TNT intermission interview in the first intermission of that Buffalo game. I believe it was with Shane Knighty, who was working the game that night. And he basically used terms like we're not doing much, we're asleep, sleepwalk. He was not very amused with what he was seeing from his Carolina Hurricanes early in that game against the Buffalo Sabres. So the thought is that Carolina's going to want to start off better, start off stronger, have a good first period here tonight in this game against the Vegas Golden Knights. They've beaten Vegas, by the way, 3 times in a row, dating back to last year. Last year, they won 6-3 here in Carolina. Then they won in Vegas last February, 3-1. They played each other earlier this year in Vegas. Carolina got a 5-2 win at T-Mobile Arena against the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll see if that continues here in this game. First period puck line maybe a lean that way for me. With I haven't bet anything sidewise in this game, but as of right now, first period puck line makes sense just based on you've got Carolina at home, where they've played their best hockey. They're off 2 straight losses. Got to come out strong. Pyotr Kochetkov is confirmed in net for the Hurricanes tonight. An opportunity maybe to have a better start, which is definitely, I think, something they're going to be looking for here tonight in this game, following what we saw against Buffalo and Anaheim, because they were down 1-0 at home against Anaheim for Eric Stahl's jersey retirement ceremony game Sunday. And, of course, they found themselves down 1-0 to Buffalo on Wednesday on the road, with Rod Brind'Amour audibly not upset, with his team start in the interview we saw him have with TNT. So it does theoretically make sense that Carolina is going to focus on a better start to this game. So I think at plus 160, it's a pretty good price. The puck line in the first period for Carolina, I'll probably dabble with that here in this game. Tonight, I don't like seeing that, the 7-16 home first period puck line record. I don't, but I'd be willing to take a shot they can get win number 8 on the first period puck line tonight, because I think it does make sense. Now, Vegas is off a loss too, so I'm not trying to make it sound like they're not going to be wanting to have a good start too. But I think for Carolina, it's very important. Vegas, on the road, we'll see how it goes. So I'll probably look at a little bit of a Carolina first period puck line here in this game. And other than that, not a whole lot, because I think the side or total could go either way, over or under, as far as this game goes. You've had a pretty good mixture of overs and unders. You look at the last 6 meetings, 3 have gone over, 3 have gone under, which goes back to my point that I think it could go either way as far as the total is concerned. And then for player props for this game, there are a few that are of interest to me for this one. For Carolina, we'll start there. And when you look at their roster tonight, as far as the forward combinations, Eric Robinson Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Marty Necas, I thought were a very good line for them, albeit a losing cause for them last on Wednesday against Buffalo. I thought they played pretty solid as a group. It was great to see Marty Necas get on the scoreboard because it's certainly been a struggle for him after that red-hot start. But he had a goal in that game. Kotkaniemi had an assist. Eric Robinson plays on that line as well. And I think all three of them, there's probably some decent player prop value on their side going into this game tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. And then when you look at the Vegas Golden Knights, Barbashev, Eichel, and Stone on their top line. The one that's been absolutely feeling it right now, and I know a couple people mentioning it in the chat, Pavel Dorofeyev, man. This man can't be stopped at the moment. Last two games against Minnesota and Nashville after 4 straight games without collecting a point. He's now gone in the last 2 games against Minnesota and Nashville. 5 goals, 6 points in the last 2 games for the Vegas Golden Knights against the Wild and the Preds. It's been an absolute explosion here for Pavel Dorofeyev in the last 2 games for this Vegas Golden Knights team. We'll see if he can keep that offensive surge going here tonight against the Storm Surge, the Carolina Hurricanes. I think they're still calling themselves that. But, yeah, definitely interested there. Almost have to bet Pavel Dorofeyev here tonight when you see him with 5 goals and 6 points in the last 2 games for this Vegas Golden Knights team. Barbashev plus 430 is good value on that top line for the Vegas Golden Knights as well. With Eichel and with Stone. Eichel with 2 goals in 2 games versus Kochetkov, says Jonathan. Okay. Like I said, the price with Eichel is never as good, but still, some books, if you shop around, you can get plus 230, with Jack Eichel to find the back of the net, which I think he's certainly got the capability of doing so here, and he does have those numbers against this particular goaltender. So those are some of the props I would look at. We don't have confirmation yet, it looks like, who's going to be in net for Vegas. I think it's going to be Adin Hill. But again, not confirmed as of yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that. A shout out to everyone in the chat. We appreciate it very much. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Of course, just the 2 games today. But boy, oh boy, will we ever make up for it tomorrow with a huge Saturday slate. Hockey Day in Canada, here in Canada, north of the border. And 15 games coming up in the NHL for Saturday. And we're definitely looking forward to the Saturday show tomorrow and our special guest that we will be bringing on with us tomorrow as well. Make sure you sign up, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. And again, goalie charts, totals charts, our daily sides totals and player props, the betting card each and every day posted on the Patreon page. So make sure you sign up, $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys. And again, we're going to have 2 more betcasts in January, free for all, open to the public. Ice Guys Live Betcast next Tuesday, January 21st, and then our second Patreon exclusive live betcast the following Tuesday, January 28th. Again, for the next Patreon exclusive live betcast, if you want in on it, make sure you sign up. You can only tune in and join us for our next Patreon exclusive betcast on January 28th by becoming a Patreon member and subscriber. It's just $10 per month. We've kept that price the same for years. And again, your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going for the long term. So make sure you sign up, just $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys, and check out the Ice Guys store as well. Get your gear and your merch, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bet coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page. Everyone loves a perfect pair. Bacon and eggs. Thunder and lightning. Mario and Luigi, a hot dog with fries. Ian and Alex B. That's right, everyone loves a perfect pair. So why not pair up your game nights with Boston Hemp? From exotic flower to concentrates and edible products, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better pairing than Boston Hemp and hockey. Check them out today at bostonhempinc.com. That's bostonhempinc.com. Boston Hemp Incorporated, the official smoke sponsor of the Ice Guys. Void where prohibited by law. Not available outside of the United States. Must be 21 or over to obtain products. Check your local regulations to see if Boston Hemp is available in your area.
All right, shout out to all our great sponsors, including Boston Hemp Inc. Get 20% off all orders on the website using the promo code ICEGUYS at bostonhempinc.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Friday NHL card. There's a lot to choose. There's some good choices. I'm going to go with two tonight in the bargain bin for this particular Friday night slate. There's a lot of good choices out there for sure. Let me just see what the prices are here. Let me just see what the recent, because there's a couple Buffalo guys I've got in mind here for the. I've got one from the Vegas Carolina game and one from the Buffalo game. I don't know. McLeod's a good. I was thinking McLeod, but off the hat trick, maybe he comes back down to earth tonight. Even though I think he's a good choice, he's been scoring lately. I'm going to go to Dylan Cousins. I'm going to go to the workhorse from Whitehorse because his game has been really good the last few. And we have seen him get his offense going again for this Sabres team. It's plus 320 at Caesars. I'm going to rock with the workhorse from Whitehorse. That's right. Dylan Cousins for the Buffalo Sabres, plus 320. My first bargain bin special of the night tonight. My other one is going to come from the Vegas Carolina game. He's had 5 goals in the last 2 games. We got to take him. And he's a bargain bin worthy price still. Plus 350 at Bet365. Pavel Dorofeyev for the Vegas Golden Knights, plus 350. So there you go. 2 bargain bin specials for tonight. Dylan Cousins, plus 320 for Buffalo. Pavel Dorofeyev for Vegas, plus 350. 2 bargain bin specials for tonight here on this Friday slate. All right, best bets, or best bet, I should say, for this Friday NHL slate. Let's do Pittsburgh Buffalo. By default, there's only 2 games, but by default, it's going to be over 6, minus 120. Pittsburgh Buffalo. We'll do the full game over this time. It's funny because first period over, I went with as best bet in Buffalo's last game. It lost, but the full game went over. Now I hope I'm going to go full game over for best bet, even though I'm also on the first period over. Now I hope I hope they both cash, obviously, but I hope it's not a night now where the first period it goes over and the full game it stays under. But we will go with full game over here tonight. Penguins Sabres over 6, minus 120 for my best bet for this Friday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. And thanks to the kind words from everybody, knowing that it was a damn good Thursday night. We had a couple of huge big underdog plus money cashes last night. A lot of people saying thanks for the winners. Thanks for the shows every day. And like I said, I love it when I see other people winning too, not just me. I love it when I see other people cashing in, especially when it's in part thanks to some of the advice I give here on the show. It really makes me feel good, and I like seeing other people get the money as well. So shout out to everyone. Hit the like button on the way out. Huge Saturday show coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to that. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. And by the way, the system play made a big-time return to the positive last night. 3 system play games, Flyers, Islanders, Ducks, Lightning, Kings, Canucks, 5-1 with first period full game overs in those games. The only thing that didn't cash was the first period over in the Flyers, Islanders game. Every other leg of the system plays last night hit. So 5-1 with the over by Fectas in total for the 3 system play games last night, which was great to see. That's a wrap. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll be back with you tomorrow on Saturday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.